Hey, KW Round Rock, Lone Star, Steve Schleter here, your resident bowl coach and coach. And hey, I'm here to talk to you about market stats and MOFIRS. It's time for your weekly dose of the checkup from the neck up on what's going on with the numbers. And remember, market stats and MOFIRS, there's two things we want to accomplish. We want to look at what's going on in the market and say, well, what's a relevant message that matches our market that may cause somebody to get engaged with us around buying or selling or investing in real estate. And then what is our MOFIR? What is our making offer for immediate response? So today, we're going to look at September over September stats. Where are we today versus September of last year? And maybe even where are we since September pre-COVID? And so I'm going to go to our reliable source that we have called the Texas Real Estate Resource Center. And we're going to use this tool. Let me stop share for a minute, make sure I got the right screen here. And we're going to use this tool because I want to stay with one tool so we can stay consistent in the modalities of how they've evaluated this. So we're not using more than one source. The one thing about this source is they post kind of late in the month, and yet to be consistent in what we're looking at. So here we are, we're looking at the housing activity, and we're going to look at Williamson County, and then we're going to look at the Travis County, the Austin Round Rock MSA, and see what's going on in the broader sense of the market. In fact, let me pull up my notes here to my side. So I've got those available for me. And here we go to work. Let's see what we see. And so this little report right here, you'll see we're looking at Williamson County, and it's providing us with how many sales occurred for what volume and what average and median price, and eventually gets into offering us the total listings and the months of inventory. So let's scroll on down here and let's take a look at where we're at today. So we look at September 2022, we had just over 1,000 closed transactions at a median sales price of $455,000, and we've got 3,245 active listings. Boy, that's a change, right? Versus 318 back in January, 304 in February, and we're at a 3.1 month supply. So let's go contrast this to September 21. We had 1,242 closed transactions in September of 2021 at a median price of $430, 983 active listings, not quite a month's supply. We know that those were crazy markets. Now, if we look at this, we're really down about, it looks like 19% in closed units. So 1,006 versus 1,242. We're down about 19%, 20% in units. Now, look at the listing growth. We had a growth of 116 net listings. So our inventory now has kind of maybe reached an equilibrium spot where it's not having a lot of net growth. We did have initially, but now we were just up net. 116 listings, went from 3 months to 3.1 months supply. And let's go look, though, at where were we prior to COVID. So if we go back to September 2019, that was a good market. It was a healthy market. And look how many sales we had, 1,010. How many did we have this September? 1,006. So you could really say, when we start thinking about our message in MOFIRS, we have simply returned to pre-COVID levels. Let's go look at that again. So if we go back to 2019, September, 1,000 transactions, 900 in October, 1,100 in August, 1,200 in July, 1,100 in June. These are all pre-COVID numbers. And we got into this crazy market of, 1,300, 1,500, 1,400 sales, which wasn't the norm. That was unicorn. That was a unicorn market. And, we had the extremely low inventories that went with it. People were reluctant to move. They didn't know where they were going to go. And so that's what you get. Let's go back to pre-COVID. September 2019, we had a median price of $291, a 2.4 month supply, And then today, we're sitting at 455. Now, notice we are seeing a pronounced downward trend. We peaked in Williamson County at 510,000. We're at 455 median price. That doesn't mean every price went down by that percentage. It just means the median where homes are really selling in our market is here. And yet it does tell us that there's pressure on pricing. And yet 3.1 months supply is actually still slow. And it seems like we've got a good absorption. This is not curtailed way back. So that tells me that we're probably not going to see this rise probably above 4 months supply, and which by definition is still a seller's market. And that means there's still a window of opportunity for sellers. And yet they've got to get ahead of things are softer, and you got to be competitive, and you got to be the best staged home. But let's go look at the MSA. So by the way, when we look at this, the median price 455, that's versus 430 in September 21. So it's still up versus September of last year in Williamson County. And although it is trending down, and that's something we have to watch now, it may get back to those levels. But yet when you contrast it to pre-COVID, and we were at 291, it's still a Yahtzee for folks that have owned a home that duration. They're not losing money. They're just giving back maybe a little bit of their gain from when we were in the craziness. So let's go back, and I'm going to take us to the MSA of Austin Round Rock. And let's take the same data. And by the way, they've got data here back all the way to 1990. Look at this. 1990, 558 sales for the whole multiple statistical area, Austin, Travis County, Williamson County, 7.9 months supply. And this is when we were coming out of a really deep recession that we had in Texas, where we lost a lot of value. Median price was $71,000. Boy, don't you wish you bought a bunch of real estate a bunch of years ago? And yeah, let's get down here and let's go do the same thing, September over September. So right now, 470,000 median price. September last year, it was 445. So again, overall, it's improved, but it is giving back. We were at 550, and now we're at 470 median sales price. So this is something to watch. We've grown from a low of 1,200 listings to 9,600. Which is still only a 3.1 month supply. We have 2,992 sales this past month. Let's go back and look at September of 2019. We had 3,600. So definitely a give back there. But let's go back to pre-COVID. September 2019, 2,960 sales. Again, remember that number, 2,960. 2,992. So we actually had 30 more sales in the multiple statistical area versus pre-COVID September. So, and then look at this trend. July 2,815, August 2,924, September 2,992. We seem to be reaching a steady gate right now that's very comparable to pre-COVID levels. So month supply holding it right at 3. The listing growth, 662 units, bumped us up to 3.1 month supply. And if I were to interpret this market, the market's down in terms of closings versus last year, 18.5%. It's not a horrible number. And remember, it's off 18.5% from unicorn numbers. And so what's the message? I believe the message is Round Rock, Williamson County housing market showing signs of stability. We're leveling out in terms of inventory growth, and we're sustaining sales levels at pre-COVID levels today. We've simply made an adjustment to pre-COVID levels, and my phone's going off. That's real convenient. And with that, I think that's the message. And yet all of this means we're also at pre-COVID levels of buyers having choices, being able to negotiate, have some leverage in negotiations. And I go back to one of the things I shared in previous market stats in MOFIR. I believe the message continues to be there's a window of opportunity. I shared on a previous session that, the amount of net migration we have in Williamson County is going to keep continued pressure on the absorption of inventory. And as builders thin inventory, they're slowing down construction right now. We'll very likely within 18 to 24 months be back into really thin inventories again. And this is the window of opportunity time. So that's what you want to express in your message, everything we said, plus the window of opportunity. And so I believe the part of your message is, or maybe as you transition to your MOFIR, it's this: if you have any real estate plans in the next 24 months, it's imperative that we have a strategy session now, because there's a window of opportunity that may be one that you would want to take advantage of right now that might not be available 18 to 24 months from now. And you can give some of those facts about stabilization. We're still in a seller's market statistically. We're showing signs of inventories leveling. These would be all conversations that the right person is going to receive that message and that offer and schedule an appointment. All right, guys, trust that's helpful. That's your dose of this week's market stats and MOFIRs. We'll talk to you again next week. See ya. Bye.